Hi kids, I'm Stefano, and together with Sunraiser Daily, I want to teach you some basic cooking skills. Now, I don't want to treat you like kids. Kids always get flogged little cakes and stuff like that. I want to show you real food, interesting, healthy food that you can share with your parents, all right? So now, first of all, let me explain to you that I am in my big kitchen, but what I show you can be done at home. There's no difference. Just because I've got a big bad boy here, these big ovens, doesn't mean a thing. You can use your oven at home. Today, we're going to start with a simple tomato sauce. But the interesting thing about this tomato sauce is you can freeze it, and then you always have it in your freezer whenever you want to make a pizza or a pasta or whatever. Around Easter time, there are tomatoes everywhere. So get hold of some tomatoes. I've got some large cherry tomatoes, but you can use any other tomatoes as long as they are super ripe. Now, to make this sauce, you've got to have garlic. Now I've got about 15 cloves for about 2 kilos of tomatoes. So in go the cloves. Bingo. There you go. Now I also have 2 onions, 2 large onions, which I am going to chop. So in goes the onion. Then we put a nice large pinch of salt. You can use any salt. Here I have Mildura pink salt. We are famous for this world over. Right? So a nice sprinkle of salt. So onions, garlic, tomatoes, salt, and last but not least, the most important ingredient, which is extra virgin olive oil. And in it goes. This is about 300 mils of that. You may think it's a lot, but with 2 kilos of tomatoes and all the other ingredients, it's necessary. I'll put it on for just, let's say, to start with, an hour and 45 minutes at about 150 degrees. Maybe in your domestic oven, a little higher, maybe 160. We'll go for an hour and 3/4 or thereabout, and we check as we go along, okay? Now you notice that I've used, you notice that I've used a very large tray, but at home you might have a stainless steel pot that can go into the oven, or some other vessel that's, quite large. When you do it in a large amount, because as I said, you can store it in boxes, in containers like this, and then you can pack it away in the freezer. All right, I'll see you in a while when that's ready. All right, as you can see, time is up. An hour and 3/4 or so. Give it a stir as you go along and let it cool before you take it out. We open the door, let it cool as I have for about 10 minutes so you won't get burnt, because this can be very hot. So here it is. Now have a good look. There's some skins of the tomatoes that I've caramelized. That's great flavor. And now the fun part begins. Now if you haven't got a stick, they're quite cheap actually. Most people have one, but if you haven't got one, use a blender. Just pop it in the blender when it's cool, and that's what you do. You smash it. You smash it into a wonderful sauce. So now, this is perfect. All I have to do is taste it for salt. But you can always add salt. You can't take it out. Perfect. This sauce is very good with pasta. But remember, there is pasta and there is pasta. There's great quality pasta and there's very ordinary pasta. And I'll teach you what makes good pasta. Well, pasta is the generic word for any of those shapes that you eat, that you generally call spaghetti. But they all have different names, right? So, for instance, if it is a flat spaghetti, like this one, it's called linguine, which means little tongue, from the word lingua, for language. And I'll show you how to open a packet of pasta. You hold it like that, and you go, bang, and there it is. This is linguine because it's flat, and it's very good with seafood sauces and with tomato sauce. But to cook pasta, you have to have plenty of water in a large pot. And what people don't understand, and I've been repeating this thousands of times on every TV show, you have to put lots of salt in. Otherwise, there won't be any flavor. So in a pot of water like this, you put two large spoons of salt. Now, it has to taste almost like seawater. So remember, salty water. I'm going to taste it. I'm a cook. I'm used to sticking my fingers in boiling water. Perfect. It's not quite like the sea, but almost. Now, in half a kilo of pasta, with half a kilo of pasta rather, you can feed 5 people. A very generous serve. So I'm going to just do a cup, just to show you. So 200 grams, like that. Oops. In it goes. See, lots and lots of water. A spoon here, a saucepan. Here's our sauce. Checking the pasta. Right? The most important thing you have to understand is no gluggy pasta. Pasta should be served on the tooth. So what it means al dente, it means that when you bite into it, it's got to have some chew. Now we're ready. Pan on the flame, and I'll just get the spags out so you can see the process. I leave a little bit of water attached to the linguine, so it makes easier it's easier then for the sauce to run. This is called Parmigiano, and one day soon we'll have a talk about different types of cheese to use on pasta. Now, my mum always wanted me to grate on this side because cheese was very expensive, so she wanted me to use very little of it. But here, we don't mind. We go with the big one. It's faster and it's very generous. But again, you don't have to flood it with cheese because this is very strong. This cheese is quite pungent. I'll have to taste it now. Here we go. You bring a nice mouthful to your gob. Spot on. See you next time.